Okay, hi guys. So one thing I've been noticing this week is that we're really stumbling over our arpeggios, and I think a lot of you guys kind of forgotten about stuff, and it's also different when you're at your lesson. You're in that sort of zone, and so you do certain things when you're at your lesson, and then you kind of do stuff when you're at home. And because it's kind of like you're at home, but you're not at home when you're having your lesson, so it's a little bit different. I know myself, I always felt like that. When I was a student, I remember a couple times I had teachers come over to my house, and my mom was my teacher, so I always remember that, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about arpeggios and how to kind of stop stumbling over them. So we're gonna do F sharp major, just because F sharp major is super hard, and then we're gonna do F major, because I find F sharp major or G flat major and F major are super hard, right? Which is weird because C major is also all white, just like F major is, but for some reason F major is harder. So I'm gonna break it up. I'm gonna do right hand and then left hand and vice versa and all that. So as you know, the F sharp major arpeggio and chord, which is what's based off, right, is all in the black keys. So I'm going to do 4 octaves. Some of you guys are not quite there yet, but for visualization for you guys to see, I think that's going to be the best. So one thing you have to remember is that you don't play with your fingers, right? Something that my teacher always taught me, he's like, don't play with your fingers, play with your arm, because all of the muscles that your fingers use is all here, right? All in this part of your arm. So really stop thinking. So if I'm starting here, instead of thinking I'm gonna reach to go up, I'm gonna use my elbow. Right? So I'm almost acting like my body is a pivot and my fingers are just moving in response to being a pivot. Right? And the same with the left hand, right? I actually did 3 octaves, but that's fine. And if I'm doing it hands together, my whole body, and if you see, my left elbow is quite out. My right elbow, on the other hand, is tucked into my body because I need that pivot ability so then my fingers there. Right? So really think about that pivot feeling instead of a finger feeling. Now, let's move on to F major. F major is, of course, this is all in the white keys. I want to make sure I stay in the, I'm just going to do 2 octaves so I can stay in the frame. So again, the same rule applies, right? My elbow's tucked, my elbow's out, and I'm moving and I'm using my body as a pivot. Now, the other thing that you want to do is really, it's a little bit easier on the black keys, but especially on when you're doing something that's all white keys, is our thumbs are kind of in the way, right? And we also have a bigger leap, right? They're thirds, and then we suddenly have a fourth. And so what ends up happening is that fourth ends up having a pause, and you're almost out of time. Right? I don't know how many times I'll hear students play. Right? It almost becomes syncopated, right? Which you don't want. What you want is, you want it to be one swoop, right? So the whole thing that you have to do to prevent that is your thumb. And if you notice already, my left, let's do it hand separate so you can really see what's happening. I'm already starting in a thing. I know I always talk about keeping a small hand position and then bringing out. For arpeggios, you don't actually, you have to prepare ahead of time. Especially for me, right? I have small hands. If you have nice big hands, these are easy for you. But for us small hand people, which most of you are, it's gonna be hard. So literally, I've prepared my hand position. I'm having my elbow out, but my thumb is out. Do you see that? Right? I'm pivoting. But I'm also, when I get to here, my thumb is already out, so I'm always in preparation of my thumb, right? Again, in the right hand, I play my thumb is tucked, right? I always tell the little kids when they start doing their scales, I talk about bowing, so I'm like 1, 2, 3, bow, right? Because I really want them to get that idea of tucking right away, right? Because if they wait, And you hear this in scales too, right? And then they get to second octave, and actually that was too good, right? So it's exactly the same thing with arpeggios. You want to tuck before you need it. Always remember, 90% of playing the piano, playing the piano is not hard. What's hard is the preparation that's needed to play correctly. Most of the time when we play wrong notes, it's because we haven't prepared for them, right? We talk about tempo and speed, and then we end up playing things too fast, and then we can't prepare. So the whole thing is about preparation. So again, you want to tuck, right? You want to bow. I can't remember. One of my little students came up with it on themselves, and it was absolutely brilliant. Right? See, again, I didn't do it very well. I have to admit, I haven't practiced my arpeggios in a while. So I hope that helps. Just what I've been noticing this week. Yes, so I have a challenge. I have a challenge for each and every one of you. I want you to pick a song that you really listening to, that you really like right now, and I want you to see if you can figure out the melody on your own, and the person that does figure it out will get a free book. Of your choice, obviously. Yeah, so let me know. Figure out a song, and you have to figure out the melody, and whoever can figure out the first, let's do that. Whoever can figure out the song first will get a prize. All right, guys, I'll see you all this week. Talk to you later. Bye.